Hi, I'm Jeff Murrow. I want to welcome you to True Texas History, where today we're going to talk about Daniel Richmond Edwards. In heading on into this, I know some of you may have watched or tried to watch the earlier video. I could upload videos that would be wide. Facebook's always changing things, so I was not able to do that this time. So if you're complaining about the format, complain to Facebook, not to me, because I followed the directions. Okay. Today, July 18th, back in 1918, Daniel Richmond Edwards was involved in an incident that earned him a Congressional Medal of Honor. And being a Texan, it's worth noting his accomplishment. Now, Daniel Edwards, he went ahead and wrote, he didn't write, but he has a biography, the name of which, This Side of Hell, Dan Edwards. It was written by a Lowell Thomas. Now, ironically, Lowell Thomas also wrote the book Lawrence of Arabia. But getting back to Dan Edwards and his life. Now, Dan Edwards, I've read the book, and it's amazing the things that Dan Edwards did. Now, some people have disputed his accomplishments, but there are some things in his life that are beyond dispute. In his life, it was almost like something out of Secondhand Lions. I mean, things seemed to happen to him that defy imagination in terms of the various things that he did. Now, I'm going to go ahead and keep the talk to the incident back in World War I, because I think that that's the most important thing. But in leading up to it, Dan Edwards was with Company C, 3rd Machine Gun Battalion of the 1st Division. And during the Battle of Cantigny, May 28, 1918, he was carrying a machine gun to the position, and while he was carrying it, he was bayoneted in his wrist by an attacking enemy soldier. He went ahead and continued fighting, although wounded, and manned his position throughout the day. Despite the deaths of the rest of the men in his squad, the Germans launched counterattacks against his position involving flamethrowers and even an airplane. And he managed to fight them all off, and in one of the attacks, he was stabbed in the stomach. Now, after undergoing such action, he went to the hospital to recover. And they were preparing to ship him home. And when he heard that his former unit was preparing for battle, he decided to leave the hospital and head back into combat, even though he had earned a ticket home with having gone through the action he did. And he made it back to his unit on July 18th, apparently while back in the trenches, an artillery shell exploded near him, which left him dangling from the trench wall by a shattered right arm, which is a bad place to be. And he heard some German soldiers approaching, so he went ahead and cut off his severed arm below the elbow to free himself, met the 8 Germans that moved in on his position, killed 4 of them, captured the other 4 as prisoners, and according to legend, he forced one of the German soldiers to go ahead and carry his severed arm. Now, I don't know whether or not that's true, but as he was marching back to the American lines, a shell exploded near the group, killing one of the prisoners and also damaging his left leg. And in that action, it earned him, they wanted to give him 2 Congressional Medals of Honor, but with the rules of the Army does not award more than one at any given time. So he ended up receiving a Congressional Medal of Honor for the action that occurred this day and a Distinguished Service Medal for it. And these are things that are verifiable. He was also promoted to sergeant. He spent months in the hospital recuperating from these wounds. And he came back to the United States and he continued having more adventures and episodes. He apparently was the press secretary to Harding during the 1920 campaign. He graduated from Texas A&M. And he was in Who's Who in America a couple of times. He ended up getting married, and by the time his life was over, he ended up receiving 83 medals and 55 wounds in the various actions that he was involved in. Not only World War I, he claimed to be in the Chaco War between Paraguay and Bolivia, the Greco-Turkish War, the Turkish War of Independence, Chinese Army during the Japanese invasion of Manchuria, the Venezuelan Navy, the Ethiopian War, and the list goes on. And like I said, this man's life, it's amazing. And I encourage you to read it. And if you get a chance, read it to your kids. This is one of those stories that will encourage you to accomplish more. I mean, what would you rather have? Will you have kids admiring sports figures or someone who actually went out and accomplished something, such as Daniel Edwards? A true hero and a true inspiration to the children of Texas. So I encourage you to learn your Texas history. Men like this and women like this are out there. Many times it's just a matter of waiting to be discovered, because many times the powers that be would rather have you be entertained by their dog and pony show rather than real history. So until next time, this is Jeff Murrah with True Texas History, wishing you vaya con Dios. If you have any comments, suggestions, I'll be glad to respond to them and maybe have a future video. Talk to you later. Bye.